releases, one of the biggest and buzziest releases of the year comes from the Sonic franchise. So, let me pull it up. So yeah, we're gonna start with movies. Because those are the big. That was one of the biggest releases of the year. So let's watch the trailer. Um. Okay. So let's start right off the bat with visuals. Um. So obviously these all these movies are really have visually striking. Obviously because a lot of CGI involved. Um, and this is one of the few recent examples of compositing that actually works. Um, um, from a visual standpoint, I'm sure most people remember the hubbub about Sonic's original design. I'm glad they went back on that because, but the problem with that is, that that was a corporate decision. Somebody made that decision. Somebody up top made that decision and didn't know anything about the fan base, didn't know anything about the subject matter, and the original design for Sonic was an absolute dumpster cluster, absolute mess. And that they already did all the animation for it, so they had to go back and change everything. I'm glad they didn't have to do that with any of the subsequent movies, because that did save a lot of time and money. Um, I like that the designs are at least close to the original, to the games. Which is what's one of the biggest complaints about the initial design. It didn't look anything like it didn't look anything like it. I guess they were trying to make it look like an actual hedgehog, um, which is not what which is not what Sonic is supposed to look like. He's a hedgehog, but that's not his original design. The newer design was actually closer to the original designs. Obviously the visual effects are fantastic. Um, uh, I like this. I like the design of Shadow. I was actually kind of worried about what they would do with him. Because he's actually one of my favorite characters from Sonic. Um, he's got one of the more intriguing backstories. Um, uh, so let's go into visually speaking. I'm not sure you're gonna find any movie that touched it. Any movie that comes out this year that touched it. Obviously, it's probably not gonna win any movie awards, but it should. Um, I haven't seen the first one. I haven't seen the first movie. I haven't seen the last movie. But I am making a point to see this when I get my next day off, whenever that is. Um, so let's do audio. Um, I think one of my favorite, I think one of my favorite parts of the movies is that they use actual game sounds, which makes it a whole lot more authentic. Because the sound design is one of the biggest hallmarks of the Sonic franchise. The spin sounds, the collisions, all that goes in hand all that goes hand in hand. And you really can't do anything Sonic without having those sound effects. So I'm glad that they're using actual sound effects from the games. Um, because that makes it that much more authentic. Um, Obviously the soundtrack is actually pretty decent. I'm actually surprised that they have a soundtrack that actually matches the flow of the movies. Um, so let's go into story, which is the which for me is the biggest issue that I have with this movie. Um, how they handled Shadow's story. Because it is one of the more intriguing stories in the canon. Um, how they handled his backstory was going to be one of my biggest issues. Um, it's got Keanu Reeves in it doing Shadow, which probably isn't the first name that comes to mind when you think about voiceovers, but he hit it out of the park. But it's Keanu Reeves. It's Keanu Reeves. He's gonna own any role he plays. Um, and I love that they brought Jim Carrey back for Robotnik. Because honestly, I can't think of anybody else who could really do Robotnik. And he's doing his dual role, which is double the workload. Um, and he fully commits to whatever role. And Jim is known for fully committing to whatever role he plays. So I can't think of it. I can't think of anyone else who could have played Robotnik better. Um, and it's crucial that that all those that their combined stories integrate. Because how they translate that into a movie was always gonna be um, a grab bag basically. Um, you never know what you're gonna get. Um, so that being said, I do have some issues with what I'm seeing from the trailer. There's still a lot of the canon character. There. There's not much separation from the previous movies. They pretty much use the same special effects that they used in all the previous two movies. Um, and I think and I'm pretty sure Tails' design is from the comics, because he doesn't have goggles in in the games. Um, it was only in the comics that he had them, that he had the goggles. Um, um, which leads me to a lot of the canon characters still not being involved. Like from what I'm seeing so far, there's no Amy, there's no Rouge, um, which I do have caution. I'm taking a cautionary approach on that, because I'm hoping they don't sequel this to death, because it's the tendency to want to do multiple sequels, and I hope that I'm honestly hoping that this is gonna be the last one, because it's the knee jerk reaction to wanting to a very successful movie being sequel, which is what happened with Sonic, which is what happened with Shrek, which is what happened with Shrek. It's what happened with Land Before Time. It's what happened with Toy Story. They're doing another one. Then, um, so if they do another sequel, I hope if they do actually do another sequel, I hope that's the last one. Because I really can't see them doing any more after this one. Um, so that being said, it's absolutely a thumbs up. Um, I think this is just as I've seen this trailer. I'm going to see this when I get my next day off, whenever that is. But that is on my that is on my that is on the platter. I don't typically watch theater movies because I can't justify spending the money on it unless it's something that I'm actually gonna enjoy. And I'm looking forward to seeing this one. So this one is absolutely a thumbs up.